Hello Internet, I'm me. And this is Kaizoku Sentai Gokaiger, episode 37. This episode is fucking fantastic. Yeah. Let me give my rating right a 10 out of 10. And there's only one complaint I have about this episode, and I'm going to get rid of it right now. I wish... Actually, no, this is a half complaint. Because now that I think about it, it's not a complaint at all. I would say, I wish Wargil was developed more. But he was. Technically, we saw a side of him that he's always presenting. The whiny little prince. While on the inside, he's really whining because he wants to be great. He wants to succeed. He wants to be known for his greatness, like his father before him. But he's only seen as the whiny little prince. So the whole time he's whining, crying, and bitching and moaning, it's not because he's a whiny little bitch. Okay, he kind of is. But it's because he wants to be great, but every time he tries, his greatness gets snatched away from him. And I like this. Because all of this comes to a head in this episode. And you're wondering what the hell I'm talking about. So let me run through the episode for you. At first we have, of course, the Gokaiger fighting some random Zangyack squad, and, they're just like, bitch slapping them like hell. And I'm in a wife beater and I'm bitch slapping. Anyway, and they just wipe the floor with them, just like they're nothing. And of course the Gokaiger ultimate power is used. I'm sorry, not the Gokaiger, Go-Ojan ultimate power is used, which is still pretty stupid and silly. And yes, people, I know the car will merge with the Gokaiger. I know it does. It also merges with the Gojujin. All three merge and become the complete Gokaiger. I know these things. It's my job. Anywho, this after of course the humiliating defeat of the Zangyack again. Of course, one thing that happens is Mach Falcon turns around real quick and goes, "Hey guys, what is your ultimate power?" And the Gokaiger are kind of like, "What do you mean?" Well, the Go-Ojan have an ultimate power. Kendra have an ultimate power. Sashin Kendra had an ultimate power. What's yours? And of course, they all chalk it up to the Gokaiger is our ultimate power, so don't worry about it. And then of course he's kind of like, yeah, whatever. Just call me when you need me, and then drives off. And I kind of like how they brought up that question, but we'll save that for later. And then we cut back to the great horse Wargil bitching and moaning about losing again, and all of a sudden, a ship is coming up to the great horse, and the ship is marked with his father's insignia, the emperor. And of course, it's his personal guard coming into dock. Now, what did they bring with them is a little more interesting. And as they come to dock, and the personal guard are nothing but, they're called dogomins. Instead of sugomins or gomins, these are dogomins. And they're red. Unlike their blue counterparts, they're red. Oh! And they actually have more spikes in the ribs and more on the costume design than the blue, which are more angular and more, rigid. And I just wanted to say that because I'm a nerd. Anywho, so they come along and they say, your father, he's been seeing you struggle a little with Earth, and he just wanted to give you the ultimate weapon in our arsenal. Yes. And Wargil gets this giant robot about the size of the Gokaiger, maybe a little bigger. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to that. I might go back and watch it to figure that out. But it's a good size. It's about the size of the Gokaiger. He gives him a mech. And everyone's like, ooh, that's cool. And of course, Wargil's right-hand man comes up to him and goes, who are you going to get to pilot it? He goes, Wargil's just kind of like, you just think I'm a fucking wimp, don't you? You just think I'm a fucking wimp. And of course he's like, no. And of course we get a flashback of Damaras, talking to the Emperor. Yes, I probably got his name wrong. Screw off. Um, talking to the Emperor, and the Emperor's kind of like, "Yeah, dude, you go with Wargil, and you'll conquer Earth. With you by his side, I'm pretty sure you guys won't lose." And of course, he's kind of like, "Really, I gotta go with that guy? Really? Come on, come on." But he's the Emperor, he's the servant, so he goes, "Sure, whatever." And what, unbeknownst to both of them, Wazukil was listening in on the conversation the whole time. So he knows how he feels about him. He knew how he felt about him this whole time, before they even came to Earth. So this whole time he's been trying to prove everybody wrong, but ends up failing. So that's why he's been bitching. And he has this actually very great heart-to-heart with Baizogu. Biozogor. Fuck it. The robot. Or I'm gonna call him Chad because that's his real name. Chad. There. Done. Or I think it's Chad. Fuck. You know what? Don't bitch about me in the comments. For the love of God, I have a lot to keep up with and I can't remember all the names. Anywho, of course he goes, "You know what? Screw off. I'm piloting the giant mech, which has my face on it." I was like, yeah, dude, they kind of made it for him. It's called the Great Waltz. It's called the Great Watsugyo. Let Watsugyo fucking pilot it. It's kind of obvious. But, instead of just piloting it down there, of course, he's kind of a douche. But then again, he wants to be recognized. So he goes, "Target the Gokaiger ship immediately." And of course, we get a fun little backstory to Marvelous and why he actually doesn't say we're saving the world or we're helping people. It's because he doesn't take those words lightly. It's like somebody who says the word love a lot, and you're dealing with a person who says you don't love them. And even though you might love a person, he doesn't take that word lightly. When it means something, it means something. And it's because Marvelous takes the word protect and save very, very seriously due to the fact that Akared died protecting him against the Zangeist. So he doesn't say I'm protecting anybody very, very easily. So he always makes up an excuse. I always thought he was trying to be a badass, but it turns out there was actually a good reason for all those times he said it. And I'm loving these dialogue exchanges where they explain things that have been happening the whole season. And it's like they already came up with the ending of the series way before they started shooting, which I like because some shows don't do that. They just start writing as they go. Avatar: The Last Airbender is a very good example of a show that was written out, planned out, knew how it was going to end, and then started shooting and stuff. So, anyway, of course, we learned that bit of information. And of course, the Zangeist attack the ship because it's a giant red pirate ship that's flying in midair. Yeah, you can't be discreet with that. Anywho, so of course the Gokaiger come down. They see Baizogu. Wazugil is not in the battle yet, but he does have but Baizogu and a bunch of Zangeist fight. And so of course they fight. Joe goes off of Baizogu to a separate battle. The rest of the Gokaiger are battling the Zangeist, and they're taking them down. And of course, more reinforcements come in to keep them busy. And of course, Marvelous is kind of like, you know what? Screw this. And pulls out the Gokai blaster, like the huge one, and just goes, "See ya," and then blows them all up. And I always wondered, why did they never do this before? There's a good reason. Because right afterwards, right after the shot goes out, after it charged up, they were left open and were attacked. Smart move, a-holes. Of course, they didn't know that the personal guard was there to take care of them. And they battle, and of course, this is the first time we actually see the secondary, or 6th Ranger keys, used in battle by the Gokaiger. And it's actually a very fun little fight scene to watch, even though this Dogo means survive the attack, and just kind of go, let's get the fuck out of here. And then they leave. And of course, Joe's fighting by Zugard and trying to get him to remember who he was. And his name was Sid, not Chad. Fuck. Anyway, he's trying to get him to remember who he was. He's, of course, not responding. And of course, they're fighting, and they use that awesome special technique where they go, ah, yeah, and they blow it up. And it was that fight scene was very good. And there's so much I want to talk about, but I only have a 15-minute limit on YouTube, and also YouTube tends to cut my videos short. But anyway, after that battle, Wargil comes in and goes, surrender. And they say, Gokaiger say, fuck off. And then Wargil brings in his giant mech. And the Gokaiger are like, really? We're going to do this? Fuck, whatever. They call up the Gokaiger and the Gojujin, get into the mechs and go, alright, let's kick his ass quick. I got some curry sitting on the stove and I don't want it to burn. And of course, they lose. Yeah, they lose. The Gokaiger, the thing is fucking fast. Wargil's new mech is fast, it's strong, and it's fucking deceptive in its ways. It beats the fuck out of all three of the Gojujin, the Gokaiger, and Mach Falcon. Because they pulled him out and go, alright, let's just, do what we usually do. Use the ultimate power and go home. But no, Wargil knocks Mach Falcon back into the engine world. That's how bad he smacks him around. And then they're like, oh crap, we need another ultimate power, and they use the one that I almost forgot existed. The one where it's the Abaranja ultimate power, where of course the Gojujin now fuses with the Gokaiger, which is just switching its arms. Really, it's not really fusing. Anyway, and of course they're trying to fight him off, and Wargil just starts beating the fuck out of him. And I mean, they're not getting hits on this guy, none at all. And of course Wargil is just blasting the fuck out of these guys. And in a strange turn of events, Captain Marvelous ejects everybody else out of the ship, or out of the Gokaiger, I'm sorry, and takes the full frontal blast himself. And as the Gokaiger gets knocked back, it reverts back to the Gokai Galleon and crashes, with Captain Marvelous unconscious on the floor and Wargil giving that evil, annoying laugh. This episode was fan-fucking-tastic. You need to watch this episode. Somebody said to me in a comment, or I think it was like a message, that this episode was finally a good two-parter, and I have to say, I like the Hurricaneger and the Shinkenger two-parters, so those were pretty good. Both those two-parters were fucking amazing. I like those. Shame on you. Anyway, but this is my favorite episode now. And till the next one comes on, probably. And this episode well deserves it. I'm a guy who really likes the story and depths of characters. Something that you can do, like, when you walk away from the show. You can start talking about the characters in depth and actually have good conversations about them. I'm actually skimming over a lot of stuff that I really want to talk about. From just the props and costumes to how they made them look more realistic in these fight scenes. And how they, play around with this stuff. With not only this, but the camera angles, the editing, the style, and how they even got you to actually feel a little sympathy for Wargil in his situation of him trying to show his greatness. But yet, I only have 15 minutes, and I'm pretty sure this episode will be cut short. And I'm going to have to re-fucking do it over again. But if I don't, you guys know that I give this a solid 10 out of 10, and I can't wait for episode 38. And so, until next time, peace.